is notify any of you. So if you live north of Valley Vista, you're going to be flatland very soon. And you'll have the flatland ordinance apply to you and not the hillside ordinance. What we have not learned is what else is going to happen when that occurs. And we've not gotten a good answer. And because of that, Councilmember Koretz's office helped us and got the Plum decision, the Planning and Land Use City Council decision, postponed until September 1st. We're holding a meeting, Ellen and I, and Sean Bayless of Councilman Koretz's office is setting it up with Eric Lopez of City Planning and hopefully Building and Safety also to find out all the ramifications so we can point them out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And all of our speakers will be available after the meeting to answer other questions.
I just want to say for over some odd 30, 50 years, 300,000 homes were classified one way, and Sherman Oaks, to my knowledge, is the only community that has, quote, objected, which is very interesting. All we want to do is get information, but that's viewed as an objection. So much for the public process and information conveyed to homeowners.
Just an update on 2 large-scale projects in Council District 2. And of course, who takes that seat is going to be very important in what actually winds up going in on these 2 properties. One is the M. David Paul project, 500 apartment units, 8 stories tall, with 50,000 square feet of ground floor retail at Sepulveda and Camarillo, right behind the Sherman Oaks Galleria. And the other is several hundred units going in just north on Sepulveda, just north of Burbank Boulevard, next to the little shopping center where the Zanku Chicken is. A bunch of apartment buildings are slated for demolition and you know, a new project with ground floor retail as well. So, what does that mean to us? Huge traffic impact. Now, nothing's gone on with either project to date, or especially the M. David Paul project has been stalled out. But Council District 2, Wendy Gruhl outright refused to ever take a position on how many units or how much ground floor retail would be appropriate for that site. So we're hoping that the new council member, whoever it may be, will actually take a position and put their foot down. That residential community adjacent cannot bear that traffic load, nor can you if you're commuting up and down Sepulveda Boulevard. So hopefully they will deal with that. And I'd like to ask real quick, is there any member of Council District 2 staff here tonight? I see nobody. So, you know, big concern is we still have a council office and we still have council staff. They chose not to show up tonight for whatever the reason. That's not good. We've got to deal with that for the next, how many months?
January.
Till January. So let's hope that people don't push these projects through while there's no council member and no representation for Council District 2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Khalil, and I have headed the Beds Pie Committee for several years. I'm going to touch on 4 quick topics. First of all, the Baroni's...
How can you do it in 1 minute?
Because you're going to give me extra time. Baroni's lot, that's me and the 6-foot-tall weeds a few weeks ago. And we contacted Joan Pellico, thank you Joan, and Tamar Gallatin. Now, no weeds. So the Baroni site, though, it remains a huge concern. 6:30 in the morning Monday, I saw somebody surveying it. So far, Paul Koretz's office and planning don't have any information about what is going in there. It had been slated for 88 condos over mixed-use retail previously. That one fell through. We do not know what it is, but obviously for those of you who drive down Ventura Boulevard, it's a huge parcel of land. Very important to find out what is there. Right next to it, Ralph's is going to undergo a huge expansion. There are escalators. Imagine that. So, if we have a Baroni site on top of a Buckley School expansion, on top of a Ralph's expansion, right down the street from a Fashion Square Mall expansion, around the corner from a sun-kissed possible development, possibly the movie theater lease is expiring, another possible development there. Imagine the Library Square neighborhood right smack dab in Council District 2, worrying about parking and traffic. These are huge issues, and like David reiterated, where is our representation? Whoever is elected to the seat has a huge issues to deal with. Best Buy, street vendors want to thank LAPD for getting rid of the fruit vendor that decided to set up there. And lastly, unfortunately, many of you won't be able to see it, but at one of our previous meetings, Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council, Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association, the Notre Dame community, and the surrounding Sherman Oaks, we all fought to keep the crosswalk on Riverside at Sunny Slope. If you drive by it tomorrow morning, you'll see it's gone, despite the community trying to preserve it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just as a side note, I was told by Councilwoman Wendy Gruhl's office when she was still in office that if the community comes out and objects strong enough, they'll leave the sidewalk, crosswalk. I mean, I don't know what it takes. I mean, it's only by 2 schools, and you'd think safety would be an issue, but instead, really what it's about is a federal mandate that wherever possible, this is the bottom line, wherever possible, to accelerate the speed limits by 5 miles per hour on major streets in order to move the traffic that they claim doesn't exist whenever development projects are approved and there's no mitigations required. All right, let's have Tom Jones speak. You've heard enough from me. I'm going to bow out after this, so thank you all, and we'll see you next month.
Tom?
Okay, how many of you live north of the Fashion Square? Okay, so a good number. Well, you've heard from Nancy, we know that the developments are still going on at the Fashion Square, and yes, the committee that I'm chairing does focus on the area north of the Fashion Square. You saw in Ellen's newsletter that right now the construction plans are being put on hold for about 15 years. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. 2 meetings ago you heard that they reduced it 50,000 square feet, but expansion is still going on. The neighbors and the group of homeowners north of the Fashion Square are still strong in their direction to work on traffic mitigation and to work on closing off streets so that we can keep the neighborhood in the neighborhood and keep the Fashion Square out of the neighborhood. I don't see very many of the candidates that stuck around today. It's too bad. I hope that they'll get copies of the letter that SOHA sent to Wendy. Wendy Gruhl was supposed to give us, I know I'm quicking, was supposed to give us some better support than she did. We're still a little bit up in the air, but we're going to continue to fight and move forward to protect our neighborhood and make sure the mitigation and the efforts that happen to us
Thank you.
don't happen to us, but happen with us.